obviously growing up in Connecticut, I think the statistic is like 35% of my graduating high school goes to UConn, but I went to Syracuse.
Yeah, well,
and
sorry.
I will remember graduation weekend, my like family friend came up to me, a father, and he was like, why are you going to Syracuse? I was like, well, they have great academics. They have, great spirit, like whatever. And he was like, all those things you just named, they have at UConn. I was like, I don't know. It's different for me.
You just don't like money. So who are you?
Yeah, I don't like money.
Yeah, who are you?
I'm Carly Shapiro.
I'm David Noble.
Very
Welcome.
nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm 1/4 of Sister Snacking.
Which is kind of cool.
Pretty cool. We built ourselves a little company. It's started as a passion project, Instagram, TikTok, social media. We have YouTube.
You can't eat all that food. That's everybody I sent your stuff to in the last thing. It's like they can't eat all that food.
We share. We share everything. We share the food for the table. I actually came up, I said this the other night, my worst nightmare is going to a meal and everyone's like, we're all just going to get our own entrees. That's my worst nightmare.
They said like, well, what do you want to get out of this interview? And I was like, well, I want to go eat. And now I definitely don't want to go eat with you. Like you're gonna take my food.
No, we just we have to try one of everything on the menu and like.
Well, yeah, but I get one of everything and you get one of everything.
Yeah, we can share each of everything.
Share.
Yeah.
So
share.
I knew because we have another food guest coming in very soon and it's a guy and I don't think he shares.
Different strokes for different folks.
There you go. So on the top of your thing, I'm going to eat this. Ian.
Oh, I know Ian.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
know everybody. It's a small
everybody.
community in New York. The foodies know each other.
Yeah, is that what you call yourself, foodie? Mm-hmm. Why?
There's a certain group of people that you just know when you connect over food, you have a different level of passion. And I know so many people say like live to eat versus eat to live. Obviously, I live to eat, but there's like a different caliber of that. Like, it's the people that live to eat, but then like care so much about the restaurateurs behind it, the chefs that are making the food, everything that goes into it. It's higher tier. And I actually just came from the fancy food show over at Javits Center. That's why I had to push it. We like last minute were told that we have to go, and it was a huge networking opportunity. So it was incredible. And we're standing there talking to this man about cheese who like recognized us. And we're literally just having a conversation. It might've been 20 minutes long about butter and creme fraiche. And like, those are my people. You know what I mean?
So I feel you. I am known in the greater Tulum area as the butter guy.
I want to hear so much more about that.
So I got back from breakfast. My wife sleeps through breakfast. I go to breakfast. And I got back from breakfast and I said, hey, I got to tell you a little story from breakfast because if it comes up again, you got to know about it. That you go to these resorts and they have every possible thing in the world. And I'm like, where's the butter? Because I don't eat oleo. And they're like, bring me. And they're like, and there's olive oil and there's avocado oil and there's margarine and
jam and everything under the sun.
And I have kind of a mild meltdown,
Were you putting it on toast? It was for toast? Or anything?
I'm sure it was bread with cheese and like salami. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like that's my breakfast.
Love.
And so, but it has to be butter. Like it has to be butter. And so mild meltdown, mild enough that I knew I had to tell my wife before we went out of the hotel room afterward. Cause like they have Japanese breakfast, Chinese breakfast, European breakfast. They have every possible thing.
A resort like that, they cater to every type of person that's coming to stay at the resort. Totally.
But the whole resort doesn't have butter. So as dinner comes, like you start to get people disappearing to get out of the pool area and everything. And My Morning Jacket is playing the concert that night. And we go to the bar for one last drink in the pool. And this girl goes, oh my God, the butter guy I told you about. And, like forever the butter guy.
The butter guy.
You got to have
Did you
real
get
butter.
your butter?
No. And I'm not going back.
Can you?
Hard Rock.
Oh, I'm never staying there in Tulum then.
It's not Tulum. It's like right next to Tulum. It's whatever that shitty thing is. But I always, when I'm with a girl, I say Tulum. And then with a guy, I say Cancun.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, girls want to go to Tulum, guys want to go to Cancun.
I actually hated Tulum.
I'm not a fan either, but they don't
Sorry
have
to
butter
the
at the
tourism
resort.
board of Tulum if you're watching this. I really strongly dislike Tulum.
I have a friend who's a PR person on travel, and she represents places with like cartels or, things like that. And so she's always doing that. So it's like, we call her like the bad place.
Bad
Yeah. Right. So you like
So butter.
butter.
Love butter.
Did you learn anything about butter?
I learned, yes, actually. I learned that if you take creme fraiche and you add the cultures to it and then you churn it, it becomes cultured butter, which is different than like regular butter. So it's like a creamier butter because it's starting with creme fraiche instead of starting with like milk solids.
When you were in preschool, did you ever go and make butter?
Yes.
That's like one of the most transformative experiences
Totally.
of my life.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I don't remember where we went. I was in West Hartford.
Yeah. You probably went to a dairy. That's what I would guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was preschool. I went, did that. I loved
Changed your life.
I love butter.
So currently Sister Snacking is very passionate about the butter with salt crystals in it. Have you had that?
I eat butter. I'm a traditionalist.
Okay. I would
Sister
like to,
Snacking goes to a point where I can't go.
No, I don't think it's that crazy.
When I see you guys at that place on Bedford, is it Bedford? Yeah, Bedford and 7th SA, I think it's called, the taco place.
Yeah.
You guys think it's cool that there's no seats like in
you
Mexico
wanna sit?
City. I definitely want to sit to eat my
Okay.
tacos. We like the same tacos. You're
You just
just
wanna
talking
see.
about how the least cool part of it is cool because I think I'm old.
I don't disagree. I'm a huge fan of like consuming in the most comfortable setting. Like you want to have your food and your AC and sit and relax and kick your feet up, but I mean the tacos are great.
How did you know it was a business, Sister Snacking? Was it you or was it one of the other girls?
No, it started with my sister Madison. She kind of pushed us creating the Instagram. It was in 2015 though. It was well before anyone
When
thought
did you
it
put
would be a business.
entrepreneur on it?
I don't think it even says entrepreneur.
I think it does.
It
Is it your page or is it Sister Snacking? One of the pages says entrepreneur. Because that was the most immediate. I was like, oh, that.
I don't know whose page says that.
Sister Snacking does say entrepreneur on it.
Yeah.
On
right top.
Instagram?
Yeah, on
The-
Instagram.
Like
right on top.
what is this page? Entrepreneur.
Oh.
Yeah.
Highlighted
Okay.
in blue and
See,
everything.
Then
I
there we
spend
are.
I spend time preparing.
There you go. Wow. I'm
did.
a terrible
And not just eating
co-founder.
butter either.
Yeah, not just eating butter or
we're not.
yeah.
So,
Where are we going to eat?
well, we're in the East Village. If you want a taco, you're gonna have to stand
I
for
don't
it.
want a
but
tacos. I don't like tacos.
really,
Yeah. I feel
depends what you're in the mood for. We could go somewhere after this in the East Village.
I got real problems about your hot dog tour.
There
Your
was no
food
cart.
crawl.
Did we-
No,
what did we
it's
miss?
just like New York's such a bad hot dog city.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Connecticut's got some good hot
Connecticut
dogs.
has some great hot dogs. Honestly, I think the best hot dog is the one that you make in the backyard at a barbecue for 4th of July.
4th of July hot dogs.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Rhode Island.
That's
My
home
girlfriend has a
state.
beach house.
Where?
Quanticottag. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's like right by Charlestown.
I know exactly where
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
So there will be hot dogs for sure.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. Hot dogs are my favorite thing, bar none. But turning a business of eating food in with 3 other. So you got Maddie. Maddie said, let's make this a business, or you said?
So Maddie started it in 2015. We were both in college. We were like just always talking about food and sending pics
Where
of
did
food.
Maddie
and
go?
She went to Union.
All right. Better than
Schenectady.
Syracuse, but not good.
Okay,
Good,
but-
very good hot dogs in Schenectady.
Okay, but I went to Syracuse for the communication school. Better than the rest of the school.
I doubt it.
It's like the #1 journalism school in the country.
Journalism's boring.
Ouch.
Come on, it's Syracuse.
Look at what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're doing an important service. I get that, but that's not journalism. You're entertaining. It's good.
Okay.
It's good. Your content's good.
Thank you.
High quality content.
Thank you. My major was television, radio, and film. So something
Sorry.
in that niche. It's okay.
Yeah. Syracuse. How's their basketball team?
Trash.
Yeah.
Trash. We went to the Final Four when I was there. Never again, though.
No, never again.
Yeah.
All things aside, I think it's really kind of interesting that you started eating and sharing photos, and you
That's
moved
all
that
it
to a
started
business.
with. Yeah.
Like,
It just evolved. It evolved without us planning an evolution. It evolved without us, like, we didn't go in saying, okay, how do we, like, really jumpstart this? It came to a point where all three of us had full-time jobs in New York City, and we were spending every minute outside of those jobs, like, doing content, filming, and making videos.
what was your job?
I worked at Creative Artists Agency.
Okay, I know them.
Yeah. I was an assistant to a talent agent, and then
Which one?
Jordan Solomon. He was a brand endorsements agent in New York, still is. And then I left to go to law school,
Where'd you go?
Cardozo.
Okay.
I wanted to do entertainment law, which I am technically doing. So I do.
Everybody in law school wants to do entertainment law.
Everyone
yet
wants to-
one person in the class will get a job. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I think I'm that one person.
All right.
I'm opening.
Are you representing other people?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a sole practice.
So do you make money from lawyering or from hot dogging?
Hot dogging.
Really?
Yep.
Why do you keep lawyering? Don't you think it's
I think I
horrible?
can grow it into something. No, I don't. I actually like doing the contracts. Wow. Yeah. Well, it's a very specific niche of contract law. It's specifically for, like, small creators and who have no idea what these brands are doing and taking advantage of them. So I like to come in and be like, no,
So you
no,
have
no.
you have a unique background to be able to do that as well.
Yeah.
When you think of that evolution, was there a point where you sort of said, yeah, this is a winner?
I don't know if there was ever one point, but I think it's a lot of little points, but I think it was when we first got reached out to by, like, a big brand that was like, we really want to work with you. That might have been a one point that was like, oh.
What was that first reach out like? Come through the DMs on the Instagram?
I think it was an email.
Okay.
I'm trying to think where. It just, over time, it became us talking like this really could be something huge. People are coming to us for consistent recommendations, travel recommendations, and we had the passion driving us the whole time.
Got that first email. Were you in disbelief or did you believe it?
I could believe it. We had built up enough content and enough of a fan base that we knew we were getting recognized for our opinions in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Maybe it wasn't even a brand outreach. We got reached out to by Forbes because we had a video go crazy viral about a steak restaurant in like Chelsea called Skirt Steak.
Yep.
Got, like, I think at the time 6 million views, which was like a lot for like 2021.
Yeah.
And they had lines wrapped around the block because of our video, solely because of our video. And we don't always say that because we're not making the food, we're not the restaurant, we're not the ones responsible for, like, getting people in the door. But we were the only people that posted about this restaurant. It had been open for a few weeks, nobody had heard of them. And all of a sudden, we were getting so many tags online of people saying, "Sister Snacking, everyone in this line said they're here because of you." And it was around the corner. The line was, I think, like 2 or 3 hours long to get a table. And they only did walk-ins. So
Are they on Resi now?
probably.
Yeah, you want to know what's something that has, in my opinion, ruined a lot of restaurants? The lack of a good bar.
Oh my
when
gosh,
they moved their bar
totally.
seats to restaurants.
No.
To the reservations.
To reservations, no. I want to be able to walk in and take that one seat. Like, bar.
Do you eat alone?
Sometimes. I haven't in a minute, just because my girlfriend's also a content creator. So if I'm, like, trying to go get a meal, she's always going to come with me. But I used to a lot when everyone was, like, working normal hours.
Right. What's that like?
Sitting alone.
Was it scary? No, yeah, you're a
No,
content
I
creator.
love it.
Okay.
I love it. I also love alone time. So I'm so
Are you introverted?
no.
No.
I'm an extrovert who loves alone time.
You're an enigma wrapped in a riddle.
In cash?
Yeah. So as you see this deal, you say, all right, skirt steak gone crazy. We can do this. I've paid, $400,000 or so for an education.
Mm-hmm.
What are your parents when you call them and you're like, yeah, me and Maddie are, and this is our future.
They're completely supportive. They don't look at the education piece as, a downside. Some parents would be, especially for me, since I did go to law school and I'm not practicing a traditional,
I have
corporate
37
attorney
years
job.
of education, so I get it.
Yeah, I think that honestly, more so, they're more proud than if we were working a typical corporate job. We built something that is fully supporting three of us at this point, and they love the attention. They love seeing our name in we were in Glastonbury Lifestyle magazine. We were on the cover.
Which is bigger than Time magazine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because for them, it's
Yeah.
circulating their town.
Right.
Oh yeah. They were obsessed.
Where do you think you can take, how big is Sister Snacking?
So
It's got a niche.
it's got a niche.
It's got a real foundation.
Yeah. It's a foundation built on our opinions and a true fan base who cares about our opinions. We have people reach out being like, I want to go to this restaurant, but have you been yet? Because I'm not going to go unless you guys have been and said it's good. Which is
Why?
incredible.
But what have you done to all the restaurants you can't go to? There used to be something nice about just walking around New York and going into a restaurant. And you find out. And sometimes they really, New York has the greatest variance in restaurants that I've ever seen in the entire world. So you can have the shittiest meal versus the best meal.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like the whole thing is kind of if they don't have, if it isn't impossible to get a reservation and people are selling it on black market, it's not worth going to.
Yeah, I think it's tough. It's just the way that restaurants have evolved, and I do miss a time where you could just walk in and find a great meal. But it's fortunate and unfortunate. I really think the pandemic had a lot to do with it. Just the way restaurants have evolved, where it's such a hard way. Even restaurateurs who are a part of very successful restaurants tell us that they're still barely making money they're barely making a profit.
Do you believe them?
I do, because there's only.
You think Jacob's Pickles is barely making a profit? That guy's got to be done in that.
Yeah, but
they just signed that lease to double their space up on 90th, which is.
Did they?
Yeah, it's not a good location in my opinion, but.
No, it's not.
It's forever. I'm forever as my that's my Thanksgiving meal.
Really?
At Jacob's Pickles.
Their rolls are good, and those tall slices of cake.
I never had them.
Really?
Yeah. No, you got to get the Thanksgiving meal is fantastic. It's like a prefix,
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you get the bread with it, the rolls?
I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. It's not I don't even think about that. Because everything else, there's so much there. There's so much there. It's.
What's the price per person?
I don't know, maybe $100.
All right.
You figure with drink. I don't know. The last couple of years I brought, so my family, my wife's family, Jacob's Pickles, really good Thanksgiving dinner. And now they're going to move the restaurant, which it's a pretty epic story of that restaurant. And it caught on fire, the whole thing.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
And then it took them 3 years to open Maison Pickles. They opened Maison.
Yep.
The place catches on fire, so they would keep Sunday brunch. And now they're going to move to this place twice as big. And I'm but it's not anywhere. People have a mindset. I don't know if I believe them about how hard it is to make money. I think the restaurant industry has changed.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're not making money. They wouldn't be in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. You wouldn't be in the business of making restaurants if there was no money there. But I think it's become something crazy because the bar has raised so high. It's been raised, and I really just think this has happened since the pandemic. But even the restaurants, like take a major food group, for example, which is my favorite example because they are everywhere and they are a cash cow, and it's still somehow impossible to get a reservation at Carbone, but they have completely like left Carbone in the dust because they focus on Teresi, which is their newest restaurant, which is incredible. But we went back to Carbone recently and it was awful, like actually awful. Like the meatballs were raw. Crazy that's being served, but they take, like, restaurants just take their eye off the ball because everyone's focused on the newer, the better, the more exciting. And like it's like always what's new, which I don't always agree with because I love old timeless restaurants.
So you're from Connecticut. I'm from Rhode Island. It's the restaurant group style. Like the business drives that. So they're trying to get to a certain size with a certain amount of sales so that they can sell it off at a certain multiple and be 100 millionaire pluses. Whereas like when mom and dad make the food, it's really, really good. But you've now made it such that if it isn't X experience, it's really hard to stay in business. And so, you know, and I think of Instagram as like driving some of that change around that.
We're definitely a part of it. We post the new, but we also try and go back to the old and say, like, even the one-offs, we don't give a lot of attention to huge restaurant groups. We do like to see what's new.
You do a good job. And like I can tell you our tastes overlap because like the last 10 restaurants my wife has taken me to are like
which ones?
Well, SA was one of them,
Okay.
But let's see. Geez, I'm just trying to think. I mean, I reckon now on camera, it's hard to
it's hard to bring them up.
Hard to bring them up, but
If
like
you
if
think
we
of
go
any,
down
let
your
me know.
poll, if we go, yeah, I mean there you did the mac and cheese. I've done every one of those hot dog spots. You know, you can go on. Have you been to Anthony and Sons? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you done it on the show?
When have we done it? I think a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. That's like my go-to.
You're talking about the sandwich shop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paninis. Anthony and Sons paninis and sandwiches.
Madison went.
It's really good.
Our most recent post about it was like, she went with someone. I cannot remember who, but it was months ago. But yeah, iconic.
You did Lucali.
Of course.
Right? Like, what's the place, like, you got to go back?
Top of mind right now is a brand new restaurant over in Fort Greene in Brooklyn called Theodora. It was one of the best meals I've had so far this year, which is hard.
And someone's going to pay you for that opinion, right? Like, we
just went on our own.
But somebody's going to pay you for that opinion. Like, they're going to pay you with your attention. Like, that's your business.
Yeah.
Like, do you think about how amazing that is?
All the time.
What is
It's so cool. And like, not just in my personal life, like my friends texting me, oh my God, I just got a res at Theodora. I can't wait to go. You spoke so highly of it. And we went and we got this off-menu fish collar and we posted about it. And they have since like told all of their patrons they no longer are selling the fish collar because they can't keep up with it. It was like a throwaway. Like we asked them, we were like, what specials do you have? They were like, oh, sometimes the chef takes, like, because they do all fish. And they were like, it's not all fish, it's a lot of fish. And they were like, the collar is, you know, a juicy piece, but we don't do anything with it. So it's just like sitting in like the freezer or whatever. And they were like, sometimes we whip it up for like family meal or something. And we were like, can we have it? And they were like, sure. So we posted about this fish collar that isn't even on the menu. And that was just poor of us to do because now no one can get it. But it was so good. Like that shows me that you're doing something incredible in the kitchen. If you're whipping up something that's not even on the menu and it was the best bite that we've had in the entire month of June, like that's so awesome.
So are you into the art of what you're doing and what they're doing, or are you into the business of what you're doing? Like what's a bigger, like, this is exciting.
It's so two-sided. The food totally drives the passion behind the food and like just like the flavors and the love there. That's the art, making the dishes. But I think there's so much of the business side that is so important. and they go together so well that it's hard to separate them. I mean, we see restaurants close all the time that have an incredible passion and talent for the art side, but then the business side is struggling.
Oh, for
or
sure.
vice versa. Like take the best restaurateur in New York City, or even the best restaurant group, just someone who like knows what they're doing in the space, because it really takes the two to tango. And you can see, we get so excited, like they're opening a new restaurant. We saw, someone that we admire is opening this restaurant, and let's say we go, and sometimes the food could be a total miss because they just forgot that piece of it, They really have to go together so well to make something that like is long lasting and withstand the tough.
What makes you happiest when you're doing this?
Eating a sick bite of food. That makes me happiest. And then second, hearing that somebody went a place that we recommended and then they had an incredible experience. Those two things bring me so much joy.
Where is that where is the connection, do you think, when you let me back up. Do you reflect about what's going on, and do you start to say, "Oh, here's a missed opportunity," or here's the next opportunity?
The second. I don't think we look at missed because
So venture capitalists, like, they have a wall, almost every one of them, and it's all the deals they didn't get into, and it like drives them.
Oh.
Like, oh, I missed this deal and I missed this deal. And I turned it down. I didn't. It shows them sort of the fallibility of their own genius, if you will.
Interesting concept.
Yeah.
I don't think we operate like that. Yeah. I think we're fully, just because being an influencer, I hate that term.
So what do you call it? I mean, someone wrote entrepreneur. This is how the whole show started.
Yeah.
Like, what do you call this thing?
I would say
I don't know what you call it. Like, there isn't a word.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian broke it.
Food content creators is what we like to say.
Yeah.
But entrepreneurs is a better, it's all encompassing because we do run a business.
Well, that's my whole point.
Yeah.
Is like, you can't be a content creator forever. Like, you have to pay for it.
Yeah. I actually was just on a panel and we talked a lot about this, where apparently it's a thing now. I have no children in my life, but children these days, apparently, if you raise your hand if like you want to be an influencer when you grow up, like 10 of their hands will go up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, it's the biggest thing.
On this panel, we were talking about how people only see, really, like, these kids who are raising their hands only see 5% of the work, which is the percent that's you get to scroll and see and click to like it. They don't see the 95% that's behind the scenes.
Well, that's true on everything.
Totally. But like, everyone thinks it's this easy, glamorous, like, little thing. And then meanwhile, I have to leave a dinner table because I have to like do something that, like, a post with a partnership, and I have to send 20,000 emails, and then I have to go sit and edit. And like, it just looks like I'm sitting on my phone, which
For sure.
to a lot of parents is like, get off your phone. But I'm working. I'm like, there's so much to do all the time. So.
No, this is, this is the push. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
Right? And so one of the thoughts that I had that started this journey was essentially, where does entrepreneurship come from? Like, how do you start to predict someone would be an entrepreneur? And the concept is they start creating something. Mm-hmm. When you democratize content creation and make it digital and handheld and all these things, all of a sudden that opens up the door and gate to a whole set of people that weren't entrepreneurs before.
Right.
Because they start the process. They take pictures and they share it. And at some point you start to create value amongst the people you're sharing it with. And then you say, well, how do I monetize this? And then you start to monetize it. And then you say, how do I do this instead of do that? Yeah. And then you actually need a business and an organization.
Yeah.
There's no other pathway. So people will stop along that pathway, right? They'll do different things. They'll turn things on, turn things off.
Yeah.
But if you want to build something that generates revenue and generates work and generates all those pieces, that's how you have to go along the way.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing.
Yeah. It's such an interesting point that I never thought about when
somebody did, because they wrote entrepreneur on your
No,
Instagram.
but when you said somebody made it accessible and put it into the hands of everyone that has a phone or I guess so anyone could do this, but it's so interesting. Like
Who does that?
beforehand, right? But beforehand, before we had social media and phones, like in this capability, like you had to be an entrepreneur and like have all these like resources and tools.
You
and,
got to
like,
have a professional photographer.
Yeah.
Right? Like then
Yeah.
you had to have a videographer that and had film and knew how to cut film
And you had
like,
to have contacts at like manufacturers if you wanted to get a product out and like all these things that we're now doing behind the scenes, but because we have like a manager and an agent who connects us to all these people and like
Correct.
we're just
there's a whole industry that was created, but eventually if you watch any quote unquote content creator, influencer, they will get to a point where they max out on revenue in that stream because you're selling time and you're selling attention. And some of your posts, when they're overly salesy, they actually hurt your business, right?
totally.
So like now you got to find a way to monetize that is synergistic to what you're doing, creating content, but not just selling advert space.
Yep.
And so then they will start a merch line. They will start this. They will start that.
A book,
Maybe even a
whatever.
cookbook, a digital. How did you not print how did you?
It's digital.
I know.
We didn't feel like we were the perfect people to make a physical cookbook, but we are figuring out a book that is a physical book, separate from the PDF cookbook. But it's going to be more prescriptive, I think, less like a big hardcover, more something that is consumable, like a light,
So
fun read.
I actually see a coffee table book with this.
We've thought about that, right?
I think like super glam, high-end, bright photos, restaurants, this, that, but keeping with a very limited number of recipes. That's what I see.
Yeah. Okay. Cookbook or
At a really
coffee
high
table
price
book
point.
is
A really high price point.
like what?
Over $200.
Really?
Yeah. Who's your audience?
Foodies with deep pockets. Because if you are
What's the gender breakdown on your audience?
majority female, but significant man, like you would think the split was like 85-15. I think it's closer to like
60-40?
60-40. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
Yeah.
So like sell it. Like who do you think would pay you for something though? Like,
People who have a deep passion for food. It's a
but do you
it's a
think it would be
foodie
more like
audience.
call to action? Do you think I would hypothesize the gender breakdown would be women with high salaries, high disposable salaries that want to go to Carbone and be seen at Carbone, and they want to know where to be seen before seeing, and that's your core demographic on monetization. And I'd be like, give them something that sits on their coffee table that other people can't get.
I like
That's
that.
my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I hey, happy to help. Like that's my guess. That's just the hypothesis and one data point. But that's the whole thing is like you get to try and experiment in what you're doing in a way that maybe if some guys built out like a card game, then they're trying to find content on it. Maybe it would be like you build out the content and then build a game that sells with the content, right? Like
Tell her about Sophie T though, because I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
there's a successful example of
yeah,
that.
no, I mean she did a coffee table book. It was Sophie T. So actually the episode's on YouTube now. We'll send it to you.
Okay.
She's an artist. She was on the show and she really inspired a lot of the thought processes that I had on this topic. And like, you know, she built maybe a $350 coffee table book, right?
Wow.
And she sold $1 million worth of it off of her Instagram.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
it didn't just happen, right? You didn't see I didn't mention any of the 99% of the work that went
Right.
into prepping that sale and
Right.
building the audience for it. But every particular piece is intentional, including the packaging, right? 250 pounds, so $300. Yeah. Limited editions, but
That is
5,000
so
editions,
cool.
right?
I would buy that.
Yeah, no,
I would
you
literally
would.
buy that.
You would. I know you would. This is my point.
That
That's
is so cool.
when I look at your content, it's not mine. I'll watch your content all day long and watch your opinion and value your
Yeah.
opinion, but it's not my content. Like
Right.
you'll never get me to go do something.
Right.
Cause like, it's just, you're not disgusting enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like my wife will watch your content.
Yeah.
She will go to restaurants and like, she'll actually go probably like a week before you. Cause she is obsessed. And then she'll, but that's who you're selling that to. And
Yeah.
I mean, like you don't have to have naked ladies in your book, but
Yeah.
that's
I don't
her
know.
art.
Some like naked ladies eating pasta is like,
Yeah, no, I don't think that's necessary. But that's what she does, right? She paints
Right,
naked
she paints
ladies. And
nudes.
so I think this idea, her monetization of what she's done beyond her art is really interesting. So when you start to put the art that she sold into another book,
yeah.
that to me is massively interesting. And then you make a TV show about putting art into a book.
Yeah. That's really genius because that's translating out of like, I am the perfect audience for this because I don't follow art. I have no eye for art, like physical, like artwork.
Mm-hmm.
If I bought a house tomorrow, I would be a fish out of water trying to put art on the walls. And this is the type of thing where like I would never know who she was because I would never have gone to a gallery or like know anything about artists. But if I saw that coffee table book, I'd be like, oh, I need that on my coffee table. Right?
I think what you're doing is similar to what she's doing in that there's a very real gender gap between marketing, right? And we pretend like it's not there, but it's very real and it's very there. And social content allows that to shine through where you're able to speak to a very direct audience without permission. You don't need permission to talk. And that's, I think, what she found is she didn't need the gallery to gatekeep her because she couldn't get and when she was here, she's like, I couldn't get through, right?
Yeah.
If you showed up at Food and Whatever channel in 2015 and you're like, yeah, me and my sister and our friends are going to do this, they would have been like, no. Right. And so I think that's an incredibly interesting concept around business of how do you do it? And like, how do you move it forward from where you're at? And that's where I'm trying to get guests in that same space that you're at.
So I think this is really fun and interesting is that we have started our Snacking with the Sisters series. And everyone loves food, whether you love it in a different, like, it depends what version of love you consider, but like everyone eats food. And we've started to tap into doing these like interview videos where we're bringing, whether it's a celeb or an artist or a creator. We just did one with Bobby Flay and it was so much fun.
I saw that.
It was so much fun. But like, who doesn't love Bobby Flay?
I don't.
You don't love Bobby Flay? All
No,
right.
I have a grudge going back to summer of 2000.
All right. Then we'll find someone that you love that we'll do a food crawl with and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to watch this because I really like that UConn player. I'm good friends with Kevin Ollie. I'll get Kevin on and we'll do it with him.
Yeah. Well, you'll be in trouble at UConn.
All right. Well,
will you own a restaurant?
I don't know. I would love to someday. I don't know when the time would be right. And have you consulted on a new menu yet? Yeah, we currently have a collab item out at Burger Head. It's a Flying Dutchman burger, if you're familiar, the In-N-Out one. It's like a copycat. It's the 2 griddled onions with the burger on the inside, and then a rainbow cookie milkshake for Pride, which is running through the end of June. But we'll figure out our next like big menu situation.
Would you collab with somebody on their restaurant?
If timing was right and like it made sense as a business endeavor, I think we would.
Yeah.
We haven't been approached yet.
What makes sense as a business endeavor? Nobody's approached you, but after this they will. I have at least 3 dozen listeners.
And I would love to chat with all 3 dozen of them.
And
Sound like
make
great
sense?
people.
But serious. How would you look at any opportunity? How about that? Let's back it off of anything specific.
Any opportunity.
Yeah. How do you evaluate that?
The most critical piece that drives us is we have to try the whatever the product is and be like, is this incredible? Genuinely. Like we are so selective. So many people come to us like, we want you to make a pizza for our menu. We want you to make this for our menu, like a sister snacking this. If we try it and we're like, this isn't, the quality that is churning out is not going to be sister snacking standard. It doesn't feel like it tastes perfect. Like our cinnamon roll is literally insane. Our cinnamon roll at the Hive in Hoboken. That's why we push it so hard, because it is so freaking good. Like
I won't go to New Jersey, so
you don't
I can't
have to.
get
It's
it.
okay. It's
I
okay.
can't get it. I don't even like to come to Manhattan. It's like I feel dirty every time I'm here.
I also don't love to go to Jersey, but my sister lives there now, so I have to go if I want to see her dog or get a cinnamon roll. But you let me know if you want one. I'll try and get you one. We're working on shipping them too. Would shipping help?
No, because I don't eat delivery either.
No,
Delivery ruins the food.
this is different. It wouldn't be delivery. It would be shipping frozen dough.
No, I want it cooked by the people.
All right, then you got to come to Jersey.
Have you ever had a sandwich made by someone else and then you make a sandwich? It's always better by someone else.
Yeah, except my girlfriend who's a chef. I think everything she makes is better. And that's not me being
That's what I
smart.
mean. When someone else makes it, it's
Oh, well,
it's
yeah, no, I don't
enjoyable.
cook,
With
so-
sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
With sandwiches specifically. And
Yeah.
I like anything that's cooked like thoroughly like that, baked goods, you got to go there and eat it. Like
Totally.
So how do you evaluate the deal after you decide the product's the quality that you're looking for?
If we think that it is something that tastes really good, that people that follow us would line up for and walk away, whether the wait is an hour or whatever the situation may be.
So
If they-
Taco Ramirez.
Yeah. Let's say they wanted a taco
That
with
line's
us.
ridiculous.
It is,
I'm
but
not waiting.
it goes so fast though. Come on. It moves
I
quick
don't
and
wait
it's
in
so
line.
good.
I don't do lines. It's like,
I don't either, but that's because they just know.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
sister snacking is there and they give it to me.
yeah. So if you'd wait in line,
If they would wait in line and then walk away and be like, oh my God, worth the wait, worth it.
dream restaurant, if I was making a restaurant, just pork. So like the new place.
The new Carnitas Ramirez.
They stole that from me,
From
just
you?
pork.
Ah.
Also, there's a place over
But
in
were you
Williams-
going to sell pork ears and
I'm going to sell
snout?
pork-related items.
Okay.
So pork would be in every item.
But not just tacos, right? Pork
No,
sandwich.
no tacos.
Oh,
Tacos
okay.
would be
Yeah,
forbidden.
you hate tacos.
Yeah, and I don't like tacos.
Pork
don't-
sandwich, short rib. Like, where are we
Everything.
going?
No, but I mean, even just like the bacon grease to cook with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So, have you been to Trafe yet? In Williamsburg?
Trafe? No.
Yeah. All right. So, it was devastating because they created it. Trafe is like the not kosher. Well, you're not
I'm
kosher.
not kosher.
Yeah. So it's not kosher. It means not kosher, right? So then they create a restaurant not kosher. I'm like, oh, they stole my restaurant.
Oh, damn. Did you
Everything's-
go tell them?
It's in South Williamsburg. No, they know it.
They know.
I've been trying to get somebody to go with me. Nobody will go.
I'll
They're
go with
always
you.
like, they come up with a reason not to eat pork.
What's the reason?
Health and vegan and this and that.
No. You'll never find that around here.
All right, so
We'll
that's,
go with you. We'll go
so
to
the
Trafe.
goal was
We
to
can
get
go to
it. The goal was to go eat. Trafe is where we're going.
Okay.
All right, because I can't
Perfect.
go to the Taco Ramirez.
It's really close to here.
Yeah, I know, but I am not. It's the principle. It's the principle.
I get it.
Where do you?
You
where
have strong values and you stick to them, and I like that.
yes. So where do you make this a bigger business? Is it
I
the
think
media
we're
side?
I think we're in the process. No, I think it's the product side. I think it's selling. It's not only selling physical products, it's selling our information. We are like a wealth of knowledge between the four of us, everywhere we've eaten. And it takes time, but that's what we're doing. We're creating these travel guides. We're creating complete documents that if you are going anywhere, you should know that Sister Snacking will not lead you astray. If I'm going to Paris, if I'm going to London, if I'm going to Japan, we have a 46-page travel guide for if you're going to Japan, where you need to go. And it's places that listen, like everyone needs to eat, but it's for the foodies that are going out of their way, spending their time trying to find these incredible food bites, right? And you're already on a tight schedule because you're traveling across continents or wherever you are, whether you're in New York or Florida or California, like it could be anywhere.
Aren't you worried you're gonna like generic out
No,
cities?
no, because we compile every resource that we like crawl through. We go through Eater. We go through Google reviews. We go through Instagram, TikTok. Like, we are so comprehensive
Who's the
when we travel.
inspiration?
The food is the inspiration.
Really?
Yeah, always.
On the business side?
Yeah. It's just always
see,
like finding the best food. It's just we care so much that our time isn't wasted and other
Is
people.
Rick Steves cool with you?
Who's that? Rick
Who's
Steve?
Rick Steves? Oof.
Rick Steves?
God, you got to get it. We're going to get you Rick Steves.
Okay.
He's on PBS. He does the European travel. He'll be at the travel show every year in Javits. It's huge. I saw him hawking luggage, but his guides, probably number one guides, European guides, probably number one video series, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Very good. Look at the business model that he built.
I will.
Because it might be a better take on the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It builds it in, but the growth of that and the expansion of the monetization of that, I would dive into that.
Okay.
Because people have solved what the problem you're solving.
Mm-hmm.
You're just bringing it to a new audience because you don't know who Rick Steves is.
Exactly. And he probably doesn't know who I am.
He may.
Oh, maybe he.
Yeah, you're famous.
Apparently he is too.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's on PBS. That's not a real TV show.
.org. PBS.org.
Right, PBS.org. Yeah. So how big
Can
do
we
you
go
think your following is?
across all of our platforms? It's
Not the stats, but how big is that? Because like what you're saying is people value your opinion more than just follow you. So how big is that? Like, how do you start to value it?
I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I'm used to just quantifying it by like we reach like 1 million people roughly.
Right.
I mean, our videos reach well over 1 million depending on the video, but
Sometimes they go viral.
sometimes
and
they
reach
hit
even more.
9 million, which is crazy. But like,
How many people you think are sitting there waiting for your video?
oh God, 4.
Mom, dad.
Mom, dad,
Yeah, no. But no,
grandma, grandpa.
no, there's at least 5,000.
There's
No,
there's a
seriously.
couple dozen.
Yeah, seriously. Like, how many times do you get an email back after you post? Every time?
Well, not emails. We get comments and DMs.
Comments are on the platform. How many times does someone go out of their way to reach out to you?
They do it via DM, like all the time.
Okay.
And not just it's they're agreeing with our opinion that we posted in a video. They're disagreeing. They're saying, "I love that you went here, but I think you should also go here." It sparks so many different conversations.
Is that what you're really doing? Is that conversation with the audience? Or
What do you
are you
mean?
eating food? Are you eating food or are you having a conversation with that audience? Because like they're two different things.
Yeah. Well, I think we're conversing. We're having the conversation.
Yeah.
Because our whole business is based on opinions. It's our opinion. And opinion sparks response.
The fact that you get the engagement is what's driving the value, right?
Sure. Yeah. Engagement drives value, especially like overall brands want to work with you if you have high engagement. So, yeah.
Right. So if you're not conversing, there's no food. They take the food away.
Yeah.
You got to
It's
stand in
gone.
line at Taco Ramirez.
I got to
right?
stand in line. If I don't converse, I stand in line.
So that's the monetization of what you're doing. It's probably not the opinion. It's probably the conversation.
Yeah.
The opinion starts the conversation.
Right.
And then we go back and forth. I don't like that. I do like that. That's a great one, right?
Yeah.
Where do you start to say, I need to get paid more?
When I'm running around New York City every day, including the weekends, and it just feels
How many
like
days a week are you working?
I'm never not working. I'm going out to eat on a date night on Saturday with my girlfriend. I'm filming and editing when I get home.
What's your personal life like?
Busy.
Do you have one?
My personal life is food, especially like with friends. We're going out to dinner, and I'm the one picking the restaurant, trying to potentially filming, but also doing the order for the whole table. That's a Saturday brunch with friends. And then I'm trying to relax on Sundays, but I know my phone is filled with content that I can be cutting down and editing before my Monday meetings. But it's always going. My personal life does largely revolve around food, but I'm okay with that because it's a passion-driven business. When you do what you love, you're never working a day in your life, they say.
Yeah, they're liars.
I'm
They're
always
liars.
working.
You're
Yeah.
always working.
Yeah.
If you love what you're doing, you're always working.
Yeah.
It's an inverse.
It's
than
inverse.
what they
Yeah.
say. They say that to you so that like you feel guilty about not working. We can cut this if you don't want to. I see this with content creators all the time, like because their life is the content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do in 10 years? What do you do in 15 years? Like, are you worried about like your life kind of going away?
Yeah, all the time. When we don't have to cut this. That's a very real and typical question for content creators. I think right now we know that is close. Not close. I mean, I'm number 3 of the 4 sisters. I'm 28. Madison's 29, just got married. Like, who knows when she'll start a family.
Yeah, she's going to disappear.
My oldest
By the way,
sister's
they
32.
disappear when they do that.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. My oldest sister's 32. She just moved to New Hampshire with her boy. And
Is that why she goes to Boston?
yeah. But I mean, that is so real because we all have
They're
real
breaking
lives.
up the band.
We're expanding the band.
Oh,
The band expands.
yeah, that's what Yoko Ono said. Paul McCartney said, you broke up the band. Anyone that goes down that career path, isn't that a risk they take? And then,
Totally.
like,
Well, it's a good question, but specifically for us, it kind of hinges on something else because we're only, I won't say only, but we're only as good as the next best restaurant in New York when you can boil it down to that. Like, if there is no new restaurant, what are we posting? We're posting you know what I mean?
yeah.
So we're constantly going to the new spots to share, and that's what people care about. It's scary when our livelihood depends on someone else's work, but at the same time, I don't see myself straying far from New York City. But we are in the position right now where we are focused so much on longevity and sustainability. So
An expansion.
So we're working on these guides that are going to we can forever update and forever sell.
Yep.
A
That's the
potential
Rick
book,
Steves business model.
Okay, then I got to look this man up.
Yeah, you really do.
Book, a product, ideally a product that is going
You
to
could do it. So Casey Musgraves did a song that she wanted to smoke a joint with John Prine.
Yeah.
You could do I want to smoke a joint with Rick Steves. So I've given you like at least 4 great golden
business ideas. Yeah.
So happy to help you with it. I thank you. I appreciate your time. I look forward to Trafe.
Can't wait.
Yeah. And nobody will go, but we will make the reservation.
Yeah.
I probably don't even need one. I mean, it's
we'll
it's
just
in the
walk
middle
in.
of the Jewishest section in Williamsburg, and it's called Trafe. So I'm sure there's nobody there.
No.
But I don't know. It looks
And
fantastic.
are we not going to the new Jacob's Pickles when it opens?
I don't know. Thanksgiving dinner. I'll be there.
Sure.
That's 100%. You go to the parade, and then you go to Jacob's Pickles.
Perfect. Sounds like a great plan.
1 o'clock feeding. I'll be there. Thank you.
Your treat.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
sure,
Thank you
no
for
problem.
having me.